All right, today we're going to talk about the book Nudge and dig into the subtle and often invisible forces that guide our choices every single day. We're talking about everything from what you eat for lunch to how you save for retirement. So let me just start by asking you a question. Think about the last decision you made. Could be a big one, could be a small one. Did it feel like it was 100% your choice? Well, what if I told you that the very context, the very environment you're in when you make a choice, is often designed to gently push you one way or another? To get to the bottom of that, we have to talk about the hidden architects who are all around us. They are the ones shaping the environments where we make our decisions, and you know what? Most of the time, we don't even realize they're there. Okay, let me give you an example. Picture a school cafeteria director named Carolyn. She notices that if she just puts the healthy food like fruit and salads at eye level and moves the brownies and cookies to a spot that's a little harder to reach, she can get way more kids to pick the healthy stuff. She hasn't forbidden anything. She's just rearranged the space. Carolyn, in this case, is what the authors call a choice architect. And once you hear that term, you start seeing them everywhere. A doctor who explains your treatment options, a web designer who builds a sign-up form, even a parent who lays out the choices for their kid's future, they're all choice architects. And this leads to a really big idea. There is no neutral design. Every single layout influences our choices in some way. So why are we so susceptible to this stuff? I mean, why do these little changes have such a big impact on us? Well, to understand that, we gotta look at how our brains are actually wired. Turns out, we aren't the perfectly rational robots we sometimes like to think we are. The book gives us this fantastic way to think about it. Imagine you have two systems operating in your brain. First, you've got the automatic system. This is your gut reaction. It's fast, it's intuitive, it's your inner Homer Simpson. And then you have the reflective system. This one is slow, conscious, and deliberate. It's your inner Mr. Spock. Right, and we all like to think that our inner Spock, the logical one, is in the captain's chair, making all the big, rational decisions. But is that really what's happening? Let's put that to the test. Okay, so take a look at these two tables right here. Now, your gut, your Homer Simpson brain, is probably screaming that the table on the left is longer and skinnier than the one on the right? It seems obvious. But they are identical. The surfaces are the exact same size and shape. I'm serious. If you pause and grab a ruler, you'll prove it to yourself. It's a perfect kind of humbling example of how our fast, automatic system can be predictably wrong. So if we know our brains can be so easily fooled, well, a choice architect can use that knowledge. And this is where we get to the core idea of the book, the power of a gentle nudge. The authors call their whole philosophy libertarian paternalism. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those two words sound like they're in a fight with each other. But it's actually pretty simple. The libertarian part means freedom of choice is always protected. You can always opt out. The paternalism part just means that it's okay to try and steer people in directions that will, make their own lives better. Okay, one of the most powerful, and I mean insanely powerful tools in the Nudge Toolkit is the default option. This is simply what happens if you don't do anything at all. It taps right into our natural inertia, our tendency to just say, yeah, whatever. And check this out. You want to see just how powerful a default is? Look at this study on retirement plans. When employees had to actively sign up, they had to opt in. Participation was only at 49%. But when the company just flipped the switch and made enrollment automatic, so you were in unless you actively opted out, participation skyrocketed to 86%. Same people, same plan. The only thing that changed was the default. That is a massive nudge. All right, another big one is framing. This is all about the packaging. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You can have the exact same information, but present it in two different ways and get two totally different outcomes. And you might think this only works on some people, but it even works on experts. In one study, doctors were told about a surgery. When the outcome was framed as 90 of 100 patients are alive after 5 years, they were much more likely to recommend it. But when it was framed as 10 of 100 patients are dead, they were less likely to recommend it. It's the exact same result, but one frame feels like a gain and the other feels like a loss. You know what else we are? We're social creatures. We can't help it. We are constantly, often subconsciously, looking around to see what everywhere else is doing. And this powerful desire to conform, to be part of the herd, creates another huge opportunity for nudging. This is one of my favorite real-world examples. The government in the UK was trying to get more people to pay their taxes on time. They tested a bunch of letters, and the most effective one simply said something like this: 9 out of 10 people in the UK pay their tax on time. You are currently in the very small minority. Just telling people they were outside the social norm was incredibly persuasive. No threats, no new fines, just that simple, true statement. Brilliant. Okay, so we've got the theory down. Let's talk about where you actually see this stuff in your day-to-day life, because I promise you, once you know what to look for, you'll see choice architecture absolutely everywhere. I mean, just think about it. That annoying beeping sound your car makes until you put your seatbelt on, that's a nudge. It makes the wrong choice irritating. Those look right signs painted on the streets in London for tourists, a simple nudge to save lives. Many energy companies now make their green energy plan the default option. And yeah, that little countdown before Netflix just automatically rolls into the next episode, that is a masterclass in nudging. They're using your inertia to keep you binge watching. So this all leads to a pretty big question, right? If this stuff is so powerful, we really have to think about the ethics. Can these same tools be used for, well, not so good things? You see, a good nudge makes it easy to do the right thing. It's like paving a smooth, clear path for you to walk down. But what if someone wants to do the opposite? What if they start putting rocks and hurdles and mud in your way on purpose? Well, there's a name for that. The authors call it sludge. It's the dark side of all this. Sludge is the gunk in the system. It's all that annoying friction that's deliberately designed to make it harder for you to get an outcome you want, like, say, canceling a subscription or claiming a rebate. Oh, and you want to know the poster child for sludge? The mail-in rebate. We've all been there. You have to fill out a complicated form, find the original receipt, cut out that impossibly tiny barcode from the box, find a stamp, mail it in, and then wait forever. Every single one of those steps is a piece of sludge. The company is literally betting that you'll just give up. And that is why the author's core message is so simple and so important. Faced with this power to design choices for good or for bad, they argue for a clear ethical guideline. In fact, when co-author Richard Thaler signs copies of the book, he just writes 3 simple words: nudge for good. It's a reminder that anyone designing choices has a real responsibility to help people, not to trick them. So here's the bottom line. Choice architecture is everywhere. It's just a fact of life, we can't get away from it. The world is filled with nudges and sludge, whether we see them or not. But now you see it. You can see the matrix. You understand how the architecture of choice works, and that gives you power. So the real question to leave you with is this. Now that you know, what are you going to do about it? How will you design better choices for yourself and for the people around you?